welcome. Let me situate. Welcome to the show. Welcome to I Think I Love Sports, my first live. I hope you guys are excited about this year. Let's just pop it off and talk about it. We're here to talk about the NFL and the college football for the past couple days. Week 5, week 4, college football, NFL football. Of course, we're going to start off with this NFL football because we're in the second half of the almost in the second half of the games of today. I feel like I should turn this a little bit this way. Um, let's get into it. It's always interesting to get situated before you get on live, and then you get on live and you have to resituate yourself because you're like, wait, I thought that looked different. But let's just get into it. NFL. I want us all to go back to April. Okay, let's go back to April. The NFL draft. Um, the days following, coming up to today, I hear a lot of talk about a lot of quarterbacks, but the one quarterback that I don't really hear much about, maybe because I don't live in Tennessee, and I'm not sure how much they're talking about him in Tennessee, but there's a guy named Cam Ward, Cameron Ward. I believe he was drafted number one at that NFL draft. Does anybody remember that? I'm not sure if you guys paid attention to that, but we're talking a lot about a guy named Shador Sanders, um, who hasn't played yet. Stefanski, the Browns coach, head coach, doesn't want to play him. He doesn't care how much they lose or what they lose. I've seen Dylan Gabriel out there at the end of the game today. We'll talk about that. We'll talk about the Browns and their um, failure, epic failure once again. Even though they have one of the better defenses in the league, we're going to talk about the Browns losing 34-10 to the Lions and all that I've seen, with that game. And wondering why Joe Flacco was in there for 3.5 quarters. 3.5 quarters, Joe Flacco was in the game. It was more than three. I mean, it was 3 3/4 of the quarters of quarters. He played to the end of the game. I realize what the score is. I'm gonna get his stats for you in a second, but there's a guy named Cam Ward who was drafted number one by the Tennessee Titans. I don't know if we remember this because we're talking about Shador Sanders so much. And when Cam Ward got drafted, I said this specifically: I wouldn't draft Cam Ward as my number one pick of the draft. I'm going to draft a quarterback. I'm going to draft somebody who's actually ready to be quarterback in the NFL. Now, what I noticed about Cam Ward is that he had the most touchdowns last year in college football. Was he the most accurate? Did he have the most yards? I don't know. I have to look that up. I don't think he was the most accurate quarterback in the NFL. That's for sure. I mean, I'm sorry, in college football. He wasn't the most accurate in college football. He didn't have the best decision making abilities in college football. He was an athlete and he scored a lot of touchdowns for the Miami Hurricanes. But I looked at Cam Ward and I seen his mechanics and I seen his footwork and I seen his decision making ability as he was playing all these lovely games for the Miami Hurricanes. His, I believe, third college football team that he was on. Nothing wrong with that. He played at a couple of lesser teams. weren't close to weren't even close to the of the caliber of Miami. This is understandable. Cam Ward loses today. Texans beat them 26-0. The Texans, the number 16 ranked defense, if we're going by yards. Going by yards, Texans are the number 16 ranked defense. And they will up to today. I'm not counting today, but before today, they were the 16 ranked defense. They allowed 7 touchdowns. They allowed 300, average 315 yards. Do you want to know what Cameron threw today? 108 yards, one interception. You want to know? You know what Cam Ward threw in weeks prior? 175 yards, 112 yards, um, uh, 219 yards against the Colts. Now they've lost all their games. There's something going on because I haven't heard anyone talk about if Cameron Ward was not ready to play for the Titans. I haven't heard about that. I haven't heard about it at all. He's not doing well. Is it him? Is it the team? Is it the offense that he's in? 108 yards today against what coming into the 16 ranked defense. 315 yards they were averaging. Now it's certain that the Texans are probably better than um, their record. After today, they're 1-3. They were 0-3. Titans were 0-3. Somebody had to win, and the Texans blanked them. Goose egg. 10 for 26. One interception. This is the quarterback that you guys said was the quarterback of the future, even possibly. Look at the zip. Look at how fast he's not. Right now, Cam Ward is not a good decision maker. There's no question about it. And there's some troubles going on with the Tennessee Titans, but Cam Ward is not a good decision maker. As it pertains to NFL quarterback, starting, first string quarterback. And it's not that he got thrown out there too quickly. He's learning, but no one's saying, "Hey, I don't hear anybody up in arms about Cam Ward at all." Nobody's making any grand gesture to talk about Cam Ward. That we're talking about everything else. The Cowboys, Micah Parsons, Cleveland Browns, and Shedeur Sanders, Patrick Mahomes, and the Chiefs. We're talking about everybody. Lamar Jackson. People are still talking about Lamar Jackson like he's a rookie sometimes. Like, do you think he can really win? Do you think he can really do this? An MVP. That's what they're. Cam Ward, number one. And I'm laughing right now because it's like, wait, and I'm not laughing at Cam Ward. I'm laughing at the idea that a lot of media, a lot of people in the media were pumping this man up. And I don't want to go against him and Shedeur. I don't want to put them pit them at odds. Here, what I want to do is show that. What do you have to say about this guy that you were praising so well? Versus telling the guy, "Oh, you just should shut your mouth and just sit on the bench, and even if they ask you something, just say, 'Oh, I'm just so happy to be here.'" Cam Ward, fourth loss, 0-4, 108 yards. What's his? How many yards does he have for the year? 4 games. How many yards for the year? 614 yards. His passing completion percentages is 51.2. 2 interceptions, 2 touchdowns. I don't hear all the crazy rhetoric of what's Cam Ward doing. I spent 10 minutes talking about Cam Ward. That's fine. We need to talk about him more because I don't think he gets enough. What he doesn't get enough talking time. No one's talking about Cam Ward. No one is, as far as nationally is concerned. I'm certain that they're talking about him in Tennessee, unless they just don't want to talk about it right now. Tennessee, like, nah, hey, don't bring us into this. But of course he's disappointed. Of course Cam Ward is disappointed. I don't know how much it's him and how much it is uh, the coordinator. I don't know if if they have to work on their play calls. I don't know. He was just uncomfortable. Um, but we forget sometimes that good football teams have good lines, offense and defense. You have to have a good offensive line to protect your quarterback. I think we forget about that. I think we can just get a guy who can run good and oh he runs good without any defense coming at him, and he throws good without any defense coming at him. He should be good. And you're missing something there because you can't just run good and throw good. You actually have to have a brain. And I'm not saying people well, you have to have the mindset to be that good. Um, on top of, aha, listen to what I'm saying now. On top of an offensive line, you got to have an offensive line. I don't care. I don't care how good you are. You have the mindset to play the quarterback, but then you also have to have the off. You have to have a, an offensive line that can block. That's the anchor of the team. That's truly the anchor of the team. Your quarterback can do nothing if the offensive line is letting people in 1 second, 2 seconds. Oh, you got to give yourself 3 seconds. A good offensive line will give you more than 3 seconds. I tell you that. It depends upon what they need. How much time do you need? That's what a good offensive line will do. And so a good defensive line will challenge that offensive line. That's why typically your team rises and falls on those lines, on their ability to penetrate and or block the penetration. Texans blank the Titans, 26-0. You think about that? Let's think about that for a second. Who else? What else was a big day? Let's just go right down to the Browns. We might as well just go right to the Browns game. We're going to talk about the game that everybody really wanted to talk about. That really want to see. What's the game that everybody wanted to see? Just a second. What's the game everybody wanted to see? Wanted to hear about? The Giants. Jackson Dart. Jackson Dart. What did Jackson Dart do? Okay, we're gonna go. Okay, let's talk about Jackson Dart real quick. Forgive me. Let's talk about Jackson Dart. Just give me a second. Let's go there. Let's go to the Giants and the Chargers. Jackson. I mean, they win. The Giants win. Isn't that what we're hoping for? I know. Dabu is ecstatic. I know he's falling over himself. I can see him at the end of the game. He's like, "Okay, everybody, get back, get back. Okay, hey, okay, don't trip, don't get too excited here." The New York Football Giants. Jackson Dart, 13 for 20, 111 yards, one touchdown, no interceptions. Russell Wilson even got in there for a second. Everybody wants to know what's going on with Jameson. Is it Jameis Winston or Jameson Winston? I think it's Jameis. I'm sorry, Jameis. Forgive me. Um, Scattaboo, 79 yards on 25 attempts. Jackson Dart had 54 yards. Singletary had 28 yards on 7 attempts. Dart ran 10 times. 10 runs. Now Scattaboo was a not Scattaboo. Dabu was the coordinator for the Bills, right? Josh Allen, and he was supposed to be kind of a creative genius behind building up Josh Allen, right? There's more to be seen as it pertains to Dabu. I don't know. I don't. I'm not crowning him yet. They are who we thought they were. We're not crowning him just yet. We're not crowning him just yet, because we don't know. We know that Daniel Jones was a good quarterback, is a good quarterback, and we know that Dabu fumbled that quarterback. and we know that Daboll fumbled Saquon Barkley. They had a squad. They had to build up a defense. They had a squad. They had a squad there at in New York. They didn't have the right play callers. And whether Jackson Dart is good, that remains to be seen. We know he had a good day today. There's no question that they had a good day today. The defense played good. The defense showed up as well. Scatterboo, I think, was used properly. I think they had a good they called a good game today. 21-18. Is that because of Jackson Dart? Is that because of a little bit rejuvenation? We're going to see what the team is made out of. We're going to see what the coach truly is made out of after this. Give it a couple of seconds for the Novocaine to take effect. Or for the feeling to wear off, for that rejuvenation feeling to wear off. Give it a couple seconds. Okay, is there a way to pause this? I don't think so. What's up? Well, almost. If you move over this way, you will be. Okay. Sorry, you guys. That's what happens in lives. We're live. Relax. We're talking about Jackson Dart. We're talking about the New York Football Giants. We're talking about Daboll and his inability to actually coach good talent. And whether Jackson Dart is good today, can he be good? I hope he is. I think Jackson Dart is a good quarterback. I don't think Daboll is a good coach, not head coach. I think he'd be better off as an offensive coordinator. Every good offensive coordinator can't be a head coach. And every good defensive coordinator can't be a head coach. You know, a head coach actually has to know how to merge a lot. There's a lot of intermediary things that the head coach has to do. He has to bring two sides together. He has to know who all can do what and where to put them and how to motivate them in that position. And he has to know when to take one out of the position and put one in the position. Everybody can't be a head coach. And Daboll's not a head coach. That's what I'm telling you. He's not a head coach. And if and when he wins, Super Bowl or a couple Super Bowls, and you say, "Hey, man, you didn't know what you were talking about," then you can come back and tell me that. Because analysts have been wrong before about a number of things, and I'll be talking about that today as well. And how much these analysts talk about these things that they know, and then as soon as the opposite thing happened, they'll tell you that, oh, see, yeah, all that I said was contingent upon this. And so I knew that this was going to happen. See, I told you Jackson Dart was going to win. Now, if Jackson Dart would have lost, they would have said they're going to come in and say, well, I told him it was too soon. Everybody that said it was too soon are going to come back in tomorrow. I promise you this. They're going to come back tomorrow and say, hey, well, it's good he got out there. Even though I thought it was too soon, I might have been wrong. He could, and they're going to start saying all the things that they thought why they were right for saying it was too soon. So they're setting up for if Jackson Dart fails, and then they're going to actually take the credit for saying, well, we're saying it because it could happen or it should happen or whoever. I'm just watch. It's hilarious to watch these guys scramble sometimes. Jackson Dart is a decent quarterback if he continues to work hard at his craft. But like I said, that quarterback can only go as far as the staff behind him allows him to be. Daboll is not a good strategist in football. He's not a good head coach. I'm sorry. And that if he can prove me wrong one day, that's fine. If I'm wrong on one day, I'm fine. And I'm sure Daboll would not think twice about somebody like me. You understand? Who are you to say it? I am the guy with the microphone and the camera who knows what he's talking about, even if you don't want to listen. That's who I am. I'm someone who thinks they love sports, right? Let's move on to something more exciting. Let's talk about let's talk about Shador. Let's bring it up. Let's talk about the team that Shador is playing for. Oh, that's okay. I got to go back. Let's talk about the team that Shador is playing for. Browns and Lions. Uh-uh. The Browns. Poor Browns. You know the Browns haven't won since the 1950s. They haven't even been able to get to a championship game since the 1950s, man. Wait, did they get to the championship game when Barry Sanders was here? I don't think they got to a championship game. NFC championship game? I don't think so. Correct me if I'm wrong. Now I have to look and see. The um, Lions get to the championship game. Yeah, and yeah. So no, I give a look. These are two guys. These two teams are his history in football. They, okay. Their history in football. These guys are from historic teams. They come from the early times. Jim Brown played for the Browns. Probably the greatest back, if not the greatest, the second greatest back in the history of professional football. And he didn't. He played back in the 50s when they were winning. As soon as Jim Brown leaves, the the um, the Browns start losing. The Lions were once good at some point in time in life. Like I said the Lions won 4 times before the 60s. I'm sorry, y'all. Before the 60s, these two teams were winning. And since the 60s, since the Super Bowl era, uh-uh. But today the Lions are a completely changed franchise, and they changed the atmosphere of that locker room. And at one point in time, the Patriots were horrible. I don't know if you guys remember that. It was shortly after 1985, their 1985 uh, defeat from the Chicago Bears, and they kind of went down, 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 down. That's what they went, and then they were rebirthed in the late '90s when I'm sorry, not Jim, Bill Parcells got there and revamped them. That was with the what was his name? What was the quarterback's name? Not Drew Brees. It was Drew Bledsoe. Drew Bledsoe, and that's who was playing and got injured. That's who was playing when Tom Brady was drafted, and then he got injured, and then Tom Brady got in. Said what? Lions win 34-10. Did anybody watch this game? Because this game was telling. And if you couldn't understand the telling game that it is, go watch a replay or go watch a highlight, like the extended highlights. This was a telling game. Stefanski needs to sit Joe Flacco down. That's clear. Stefanski needs to sit Joe Flacco down. How old is Joe Flacco? 42, 40, 45, 40. I think he's 42, isn't he? Joe Flacco, how old are you? um, Let me see, just a second. Joe Flacco. Okay, here we go. Laconcito. Joe Flacco is 40 years old. Okay. Nothing wrong with being a 40-year-old player. If you got it, you got it. Nothing wrong with that. Joe Flacco's stats. Not so good this year. And they only have they don't have all of his stats up there. Uh, they trying to shortchange us. They don't have all of his stats up there for this season. How many games did he play this season? Wait, he only played 3 games this season. How did he only play 3? Real quick. Here we go. Okay. Joe Flacco. They won last week, but not because of Joe Flacco. Joe Flacco was 21 of 36. I can't say he didn't make some decent, some good passes at the right time. It was really their rushing game that kind of kept him in last week. Um, Joe Flacco was 21 for 36, 58 completion percentage, 142 yards. This is last week. No touchdowns, 1 interception. Excuse me. This was last week in their win. That doesn't sound like winning numbers. That's the funny thing. These aren't winning numbers. This is what he got in their win. And they're like, yeah, man, we won one, but not because of Joe Flacco. Ladies and gentlemen, they lost to the Baltimore 41-17. Joe Flacco was 25 for 45. That's a 55.6. Let's put the point six on there. They say almost 56 yards, 56% completion percentage. 199 yards. He had a touchdown and 1 interception. The first game against the Bengals, lost 16-17. 31 for 45. Had that 45. That first game he was 68%, almost 70, almost 69% passing completion percentage. 290 yards, 1 touchdown. I want you to hear this. 2 interceptions. Today, 16 for 34. Okay. 16 for 34. That's below 50% passing completion percentage. It's below 50%. Okay. 184 yards, 2 interceptions. Now, let's do math. How many interceptions does Joe Flacco have this year? 6 interceptions this year. How many touchdowns does Joe Flacco have this year? 2. Are we listening? Can you please explain to me why Joe Flacco is still playing in these games? You want to explain to me why Joe Flacco is still playing in these games? Does anybody know why Joe Flacco is still playing in these games? Because Kevin Stefanski is like, I don't care. You can't make me do it. You can't make me play anybody I don't want to play. That is Kevin Stefanski. That is my Kevin Stefanski, ladies and gentlemen. He's not serious. He's not serious. He can't be serious. That's ridiculous. I'm going to say it like that. That is ridiculous. That Kevin Stefanski is basically saying, I don't want to play anybody but Joe Flacco, who's been horrible, putrid. And this is why I said on one of my TikToks, this is why I said that the Cleveland Browns, right at this point in time, the Cleveland Browns they're losers. They are losers, and they don't want to win. They don't care if they win. It's not about winning for the Cleveland Browns. I'm not sure what it's about at this point in time. You can't be trying to save your job. You can't. Someone who actually wants to, like, I don't know, save their job, just wants to be the best, period, or wants to be considered one of the best ever. And maybe you don't want. Maybe that's not what he wants to do. Why are you a football coach if you don't want to be one of the best coaches ever? Are you just there? Like, well, I just needed something. I just needed a job. Is that what you said? Well, I just need a job and I like football. Is that why that's why you're coaching? And some people aren't head coaches. This is my point. This is horrible. Some coach has to go into Cleveland and say, I'm going to coach football to win. Period. and someone has to change the culture of that team because something is extremely wrong in Cleveland. I don't know if it's the owners. I don't know if it's the management. I don't know. I want you to think about this. The Cleveland Browns actually had up to today had one of the better defenses as it pertains to yards. Guess what? They got beat badly, and it wasn't like that. And I'll be honest, they didn't even give up a whole lot of yards. Look at this. It was those two interceptions that Flacco threw. Um, Gibbs had what was it 91 yards today, 6 yards a carry. Goff only had 168 yards, but he had two touchdowns. Gibbs had a touchdown. Um, St. Brown had a touchdown. St. Brown had two touchdowns, apparently. He had the two receiving touchdowns. Okay. 16 for 27. So what was that, about 56%? I have to do that. I haven't done the math on that one, but not the greatest game for Jared Goff. But he did what he had to do because I think the Lions defense had an easy game today. I'm not going to say it's easy because I don't think any game is easy because it's the NFL. So let me take my words back. Forgive me for saying that. There's no such thing as an easy day to that extent. They're going to have to give some effort. But I think they played against a team that doesn't, like I said, that has no true organization with the desire to win. They don't. They don't. Kevin Stefanski was given the coach of the year twice. Can somebody please tell me why? Please, someone raise their hand. Tell me why. Instruct me as to why that young man. I think we're the same age. Tell me why he has been given coach of the year twice. Because it's the Browns. Is that the reason? Because it's the Browns? Well, if it was another team, he probably wouldn't. I don't know if he would be getting those same accolades if it was another team that he went to and they won a couple times and didn't really do anything in the playoffs. I don't really think that he would be getting coach of the year. And he didn't. It wasn't that fantastic of a year. I mean, we can look back at it and see. It wasn't that fantastic of a year that he won these two. Those years that he won the coach of the year, I can guarantee you they weren't. Okay, here's let me do this. Because I'm gonna get the I'm gonna get the I'm gonna pull up his stats. You might not see this, but I see this. I'm gonna try to read them for you. He was two times coach of the year, twice. Coach of the year, 2 times. Not once, 2 times. Oh shoot. Okay, go back. 2-time coach of the year, Kevin Stefanski. Let's see. Let's see some things. Hang on, how come they don't let me see that? Yeah, I think it was 2020 he was coach of the year. And what's the other one? Yeah, I'm not able to pull that up. That sucks. Comeback player, coach of the year. Yeah, so 2023, Kevin Stefanski was the coach of the year, AP coach of the year. 2020, I don't know what AP is. I don't know what is. Can somebody please tell me who AP is? Because I see Brian Dabble on that list as Coach of the Year 2022. Can you make some sense out of that one? What did he do in 2022? Kevin O'Connell makes sense. Yeah, Kevin Stefanski was the Coach of the Year 2020 and 2023. Can someone please tell me what their record was? What was the Cleveland Browns record in 2023? Anybody know the Cleveland Browns record in 2023? It was dun, dun, dun. They were 11-6. You know what they were in 2020? 11-5. Who's giving this guy? Like I said, just because he's coaching the Browns, they're like, well, he got the Browns to win. And what did they do in the playoffs? Well, 2023 they lost, and then in 2020 they won one and lost one. Ain't that something special? I don't. Okay, yeah, I'm looking at Kevin Stefanski and I'm thinking like 11-5 his first year, 8-9, and 7-10, then 11-6, and then 3-14, and then now he's starting off this year 1-3. I don't think he's not a good coach. I don't think he's a head coach. That's how I feel. I don't think that he's not a good coach. I think he's not a head coach. That's all. And if he is a head coach, he's not very good. He's not a good head coach. Lions beat the Browns 34-10, the way it was supposed to be. I'd like to hear what they have to say about Joe Flacco continuing to play. I want to hear what other people have to say about this. Joe Flacco continue to play. He literally lofted the ball in the air. Did you? I don't know if you guys seen this play. He went back, lofted the ball in the air. Sorry, let me sit up a little bit. Lofted the ball in the air to nobody, and the and the Lions intercepted it. Okay, what's the next one we have on here? I'm so disappointed. I'm just so disappointed that we're looking at this man. Yeah, we're looking at this man that can't play that is not playing up to his spot, but yet we're trying to pretend like he should still be playing. All right, I won't get into that. We got more to talk about. The Eagles beat the Buccaneers. That was the next one I was going to talk about. The Eagles and the Buccaneers. What's going on? Because there's a lot of people that had the Buccaneers. A lot of people jumped on the um, the Baker Mayfield bandwagon and saying making stats or making uh, I guess making taking stats that they hope to come true. Well, Jalen Hurts or somebody had never lost, or Jalen Hurts had never won against Todd Bowles or something like that, or he only won one game against out of four, or something like that. It's always strange where they try to pull this stuff from. Any given Sunday. That's what we know. That's where the movie comes from. That's where the movie title comes from. The Buccaneers, um, they put up a good fight. I mean, they were losing, what was it, 24-6 at halftime? 24-6 at halftime. They were losing, and they made a valiant effort. And there's no question that Baker Mayfield was instrumental in that valiant effort. But if I'm being honest, the Eagles defense really did more. They did a little bit more than it looks like. Even though, like I said, it's 25-31, Eagles win. Jalen Hurts actually was the leading rusher. today. A lot of people are keying off on Saquon Barkley. They don't want to lose to be. They don't want him stuffed down our throats or down the throats of the other team. I say our, but they don't want him stuffed down the throats of the opponent. They're like, no, we're not going to let him stuff. We're not going to let them stuff Saquon Barkley down our throat because that's what he did last year, and that's people are not trying to let that happen again. So Saquon is seeing a lot of uh, extreme coverage, like a lot of extreme blitzing defense. Where Saquon is seeing that he's not getting any room to breathe this year, and we're going to see what he's actually made of if he really wants to do this anymore after this year. Because I think that they're making like it's made it hard on him. He won his championship, but the teams are going to be hard on him. They're going to key off on him. They're going to put 7, 8 in the box. 6, 7, 8 in the box. They're unknown run plays. They're gonna have to do something special because Saquon is not Saquon in it right now. He ain't doing any backwards leaps. But hats off to Baker Mayfield. He was a better QB than Jalen Hurts today, that's for sure. Given the fact that he passed for 22 for 40 with 289 yards and 2 touchdowns, but he had that interception. So Eagles top the Buccaneers. Once again, this was something that I heard a lot of people discussing that the Buccaneers were going to beat the Eagles, and for whatever reason, the Eagles win the Super Bowls. They get no respect inside of the media from many parts of the media. Now I don't know about the Philadelphia news. I'm sure Philadelphia news might be different, but I don't. Yeah, I don't see them. Sorry, I'm looking at the highlights of the Jaguars game. So the Jaguars are playing against the Niners, and they're actually beating them right now. Um, but there was a lot of people that were going against that picked the Bucks against the Eagles. And I thought that was interesting. Like, so y'all don't think the Eagles can go down there and do what they've been doing? They handling their business this year. You don't think the Eagles got it? You don't think the defense got it? You don't think what is it that you think they don't have? Well, Baker Mayfield is going to be, I'm going to roll with Baker, and it's okay, all right. Yeah, they almost did it. Didn't happen. Um, I don't really want to talk about the Vikings. I'm somewhat a little bit of the Vikings fan, being that I am Minnesota born. Um, Minnesota Vikings, boy, I tell you. They went down to Dublin. They went over to the Dubs. Went over to Dublin and didn't get the dub. The Steelers actually played a good game. It was a good game. There's no question it was a good game. There was no question. Very good game. I think it was a very good a game to be played overseas even. Um, I think both defenses shown what they could do, and I think that the Minnesota offense didn't do more. They didn't do as much as they could. I think the score should have been 27-24. Minnesota wins, but Kevin O'Connell sometimes doesn't take the three and rely on his defense like he should. Kevin O'Connell, while he is a uh, quarterback whisperer, he needs to learn how to whisper some wins when it comes to these type of tough games. Um, I get did he only lost 3 games last year. He has to rely on, and I just think that I think that he got caught up in the moment. I think Kevin O'Connell is a very good head coach, very good head coach. So don't get me wrong about that. I think today that he missed out on. I think he should have went for the field goal as opposed to going for a couple of those. I think 4th and 1 that he went for. I think that had he went for the field goal in certain situations that towards the end of the game probably would have been 27-24, the Vikings. And I think he dropped the ball on that one. I don't think he's going to do it every game because I think he's a good coach. I think he knows what he's doing. So, Wentz. Like I said, there's no reason to get in the stats on that one because, yeah, he said there's no reason to get to the stats on that one. I don't want to see the stats on that one. Let me get the stats. Let me get them. Let me just get them up and see. Doggone Minnesota Vikings. Uh-uh. Minnesota Vikings. 27, 24. I mean, 21, 24. Vikings. Carson Wentz had. It was the interceptions that Carson Wentz threw. There's no question about that. It's interceptions. 30 for 46. 30 for 4. Let me say it again. 30 for 46. 350 yards, 2 touchdowns, and 2 interceptions. Those 2 interceptions murdered the Vikings. And I think a bad strategic. It was just bad strategy to not use your field goals, to not take the field goals in a couple of those moments. I think it was bad strategy. I get it. That's it's kind of like, oh, I go by the next gen stats or I'm being a quarter. I mean, being a head coach, you got to have the feeling, man. You can't be looking at stats like that. I get you got to kind of compare, like, oh yeah, you use them to a certain extent, but you got to use your gut, your feeling, your mind. I just think that was I think that's what sets you apart from a Super Bowl head coach as to one that actually just wins during the regular season. You got to go with something that might be considered unconventional, and sometimes in that unconvention, and that lack of convention, but sometimes when you go with the unconventional strategy, you go with the conservative strategy to win the game, and you rely on your defense. I don't think that you are somehow less of a coach because you're saying, hey, I recognize that we're gonna kick this field goal on 4th and 1. We're gonna kick this field goal on fourth and a half of a yard or whatever, depending upon who you got going on and what is going on that day. Sometimes it's smart, but you got to know when. Like I said, Carson Wentz actually had a really good game. The 2 interceptions, those are bad interceptions, and they came at a wrong time. Mason, 57 yards on 16 carries. Jefferson, over 100 yards. Of course, he had Addison back today. Jefferson and Addison with over 100 yards. Jefferson, 10 receptions. Addison, 4 receptions. Hawkinson had 4 receptions for 39. I mean, their offense was on one. And for what it's worth, the defense did well. Those 2 interceptions didn't help. Carson, yeah, he's getting used to everything. I get him. I get it. He's getting used to everything. So, but the Vikings could have had that. They could have pulled that one out. I think it was bad strategy at the end of the game. Call me crazy. Who haven't we talked about? We haven't talked. Well, the Bills. Nobody really wants to talk about the Bills and the Saints. The Saints are horrible. There you go. The Bills are 4-0. The Saints are horrible. The Bills were 3-0 before today. The Saints are horrible. Saints are horrible right now. Okay, relax. It's right now. They need some help. It's clear. They need a little help. Okay, they need a lot of help. Spencer Rattler was very good on what was that Netflix show? It was a good show. I seen him on. Um, he's not uh, he's not in high school anymore. That's for sure. He's small. I actually think he has skill. Spencer Rattler has skill. I don't think he's a starting quarterback. He's not a starting quarterback. 18 for 27, 126 yards, 1 touchdown. I don't. He's not a starting quarterback. I don't know why the Saints didn't go with what was the guy's name that played like every position? I forget his name right now. I don't know why they didn't go with that guy. I can't remember his name right now. He's number 7. Um, I don't get it. I don't. You're not gonna. The Saints, I think, have dropped that. Something's going on with the Saints. They have to get it together. The Bills beat them very easily, 31 to 19. Um, they had them beat, pretty much from the beginning of the game. So there's nothing really to talk about that. Uh, the Bills are looking good. They're probably one of the top three teams in the league right now. They're going to be one of the teams to beat at the end of the year. The issue with the Bills is that they have to learn how to win playoff games. They have to learn how to win the games that matter in the playoffs. And in the last few years, they haven't been able to do that. And that's really been their only downfall. They have good teams, and this is consistently the way the Bills have been for throughout since the '90s that I can think of. That's consistently the way they've been. Is they'll have really good teams, and they just can't put it together in the off in the I'm sorry in the playoffs. They can't put it together after the regular season, and that's what they really have to work on. That I'm not sure what it is. They got to work on getting that little extra edge. And I know they're playing against the Chiefs or the Ravens or somebody, but that's what it's about. I have nothing bad to say about the Bills. Bills are good. Um, Patriots destroy the Panthers. Let's go to the Falcons and let's look at the Falcons and the. Are we in that? The Falcons and the Commanders. I don't like that. I still don't like the Commanders name. We gotta find a different name for the Commanders. It's a sucky name. It is. Okay, while I have it up, I mean, there's nothing. I don't even want to talk about the Patriots and the Panthers. Patriots beat the Panthers 42-13. Okay, it is what it is. Patriots beat the Panthers. Somebody had to win. I don't think either team is that good, but somebody had to win. 42-14, and Patriots pretty much destroy the Panthers. That's amazing. The Panthers are horrible too right now. Who am I looking for? I'm looking for the Commanders and the Falcons. Falcons and Commanders. Okay, here we go. ATL. So, this was a good game though. It was a good game. It was a good game. Um, Atlanta was Atlanta had them pretty much from the beginning, but I'm just saying, very good game. Atlanta was up 17 at half, and it's 17-10 at half, and the Patriots. I mean, I'm sorry, the Commanders never actually caught back up. Everybody's looking at Jayden Daniels wouldn't play today, so they had Mariota. Not the same. Not the same as Jayden Daniels, but Michael Penix, 20 for 26, 313 yards, 2 touchdowns. He had an interception, but and then what's his name? BJ or Bijong? I can't remember how to pronounce his first name, but Robinson had 75 yards on 17 carries, so almost 4.5 yards a carry today and a touchdown. They destroyed the Commanders. They're talking about almost 500 yards rushing. What would they have? 400 and almost 450 yards rushing. I mean, total yards today on offense. That's crazy. They were 50 yards away from, or what, 50 or 60 yards away from, 60 something yards away from 500 yards total offense today. They were kicking them around a little bit. Well, that's the first half of today. And the funny thing is, what we got going on now is we got the Jaguars. I'm watching the Ravens lose to the Chiefs right now, but we got the Jaguars that are giving the Niners a good run for their money in San Francisco. Let's look at what they got going on. We got Lawrence is 16 for 23 right now, 140 yards. Don't worry, this is like third quarter. I always look to see if Travis Hunter is getting his. I think he should get more throws. I think Travis Hunter should get more. Um, I'm sorry. He should get Not snap. He should get more attempts. I'm I'm coming with it. More targets. Thank you. He should get more targets. They're not targeting him. Are they double teaming Travis Hunter, or is he just not able to get? I think that they need to work him in. I think he can actually be. I'm on the side of Deion Sanders on this one. I think that he could actually be more beneficial, and I don't think they're using him properly. And I don't think that the 49ers are out of this game. So, but the Jaguars are actually winning right now in third quarter. 6 minutes left in the third quarter, 17-14. We'll see what happens later, but um, the Colts and the Rams. Who's winning there? Let's see. See what's going on. Colts and Rams. Rams are up 13-10. I mean, we're talking about the second half of the. We're in the second half. Rams are up 13-10 at halftime. So the Colts are, like I said, I can't. There's nothing to say about the Colts other than they're doing something special. They're going to run into some problems. They're going to run, and we got to see how Daniel Jones handles those problems. That's all. Got to see how Daniel Jones handles those problems. Um, I know I'm focusing more so on the NFL side because that's where we are today. I'll go back to the college side. Just give me a second. We're going to get back to the college side, and I might have to come back and get to the college side. But you see my lovely college allegiances over there. I don't just have one team that I watch. I don't have one team that's my favorite. I like Texas. I like Georgia. Georgia's probably my favorite team. I like Texas. Minnesota. Growing up in Minnesota, favorite teams. Um, Lived in Georgia. I just like Texas. I don't know why I like Texas football. I like Texas football because of the Dillon Panthers, which is a non-existent uh, town and team from Texas. I am a Texas fan because of the Dillon Panthers. Thank you, Coach Eric Taylor. Tim Riggins, Eric Taylor. I dare somebody to beat them. Let's put them on TV right now. I think they can beat the Titans on Remember the Titans. Yes. That's why I became a Texas fan. That's where I became a Texas fan was back in the early 2000s, Dillon Panthers. And I know that, uh, they there was a fictional college called TMU or something like that. That I think they kind of made it into like a Texas, even though they had UT there. But it was interesting. But that's how I became a Texas fan. So you got the Rams and Colts. The Colts. The Colts just scored a touchdown like right out of halftime. So Colts are up right now. Ravens are losing to the Chiefs. I don't know what's going on with the Bears and the Raiders. I honestly almost don't care about the Bears and the Raiders. It's like, and I say I don't care because I don't like either team very much right now. The Raiders, um, mm, no, and then the Bears, no. Those are my actual thoughts on them. Bears are winning right now. Both teams 1 and 2. Who knows what's going to happen? Anything can happen with these two teams because these two teams are football follies. They would be number one on the football follies on Saturday if it still came on. That's all we got. Complaining that Cam Ward's a bust or Cam Ward's a, no. I don't hear anybody talking about Cam Ward and his lack of scoring or being able to pass or being able to will his team to win a game. Yet we're talking about what Shedeur Sanders, whether he should talk or shouldn't talk. When somebody asked him a question, hey man, you think you can play on a if somebody came if ESPN was interviewing regular people and they happen to come up and hey sir, do you think that you could play at the level of quarterback and play? Do you think what do you think I'm gonna say? I'm retired now, so I would say no. But if I was in my prime, it would be on. Have you ever played that? Nope, I never played. Um, never played organized football. It was all disorganized football. We played all the the padless football. However, coach football, yeah, I've been there. I'm a student of the game. I'm not afraid to look. There's no sport that I can say that you interview me and say, do you think you can do this? Yeah, that's why I don't get into the goat talks because I'm the best that I ever knew. I ain't got to talk about somebody else. I have fun with that though. That's what I say because I don't really look at it as yeah. I mean LeBron James, Michael Jordan, whoever, whatever. I don't get into that because yeah, I let other people do that. There's no way you can prove to any of those people that those people are um, that any one of those guys are the greatest player of all time. There's no way to prove to anyone their opinion. Like I'm going to prove to you that your opinion is wrong. They like who they like, and there's nothing that you can say that will change that. That's why I don't get into that type of talk. It's just kind of a fun discussion, but it's not really fun anymore. It's just because people are actually way too serious about it. But like I said, if you ask me, Shador Sanders, if I'm Shador Sanders and I have I'm his age, I'm playing for the Cleveland Browns, I got drafted. You ask me a question like that, what am I supposed to say? I don't know if I'm good enough to play. Yeah, I just think that I'm gonna keep my head down and um learn the system, and when I get a chance to play, I'll play. I don't know if I'm good enough to play in this league. I don't know if I'm better than. That's what y'all want him to say. Why? Why do you want him to say that? That's the real question: is why? Why does he have to dim his light? Essentially, that's would be the key word. Why would he have to down himself or dim his light or do whatever it is that y'all want him to do to kind of show some type of bogus humility that you guys don't even show on your media platforms? You guys don't even show humility on your own platforms when it comes to media. But somebody who's playing actively in the NFL are supposed to show humility. Well, you got to play the game. That's bogus. Bogus. Thank you, Frankenstein from Monster Squad. Thank you. Thank you. Now, I didn't talk any college football, but I will. And I'm going to. I want you to know that. I'm going to get back to you. I promise. I promise I'm coming back. And I know you're going to miss me. Don't deny it. But this is I Think I Love Sports, or I think I love sports. I think I love sports. This is what it is. And this is what we talk about. We talk about um, trending topics, latest news, try to talk about football, basketball, and something, anything that I think I have some type of expertise on, coaching, um, just different aspects. We got you going. We got it here. I'm an expert. Don't worry about it. I am your local expert. Come up and see me sometime. You know what it is. It's me, your host, David B. And this is I Think I Love Sports. We out.